Hi guys, I'm Simone Acquarelli from Monte Scudaio, ristorante Sapo Bel Frantoio. Today we are going to prep a real traditional recipe from my father. It's really traditional, but unluckily nobody wants to eat anymore. So it's really hard to find people that they like this recipe because it's made with liver, pork liver and beef liver. We also use pork neck, pork fat, sage, black pepper, salt, and pork cold to fix everything. Really traditional. It's not so light, it's a bit heavy dish, but it's amazing. Really amazing. So we can start to prep the fegatelli, because this recipe is called fegatelli. We take our pork neck, we cut. First we slice. We cut in small piece and we keep on the side. Voila. We season it already, so pinch of salt. And for the pork neck, we are ready. What we need now is to use sage. We'll put just one leaf for piece. Okay. Voila. One by one. This recipe is from my father, and I really like to cook and eat because I remember when I was young, and I also remember the first time when I said to my father, I don't want to eat the liver, but when I grew up I really start to love it. So this is amazing. In this case we are going to use beef liver, also if the traditional recipe is with pork liver that we will use later. So we season it. Okay. This is still really hard to find in the restaurant, and it's also hard to find the prime food to make it at home. But we found it and we make it. Okay. We prefer in this case to use the beef liver just because we want to do something a little bit light. So the pork liver is stronger, so in this case we use beef liver, but the best way is to use the pork liver. So the real traditional recipe is with the pork liver. In this recipe you can use a lot of part of the pork, because later we will cook our fegatelli in the pork fat that is made from the fat that usually you eat in Tuscany has lardo di colonnata. If you don't put under salt, you use raw. You cut a small piece, you put in the fire, really slow fire, in a pot, you will have this. And this is amazing to cook. 50 years ago they also used the pork fat to keep for all the winter the fegatelli, because they didn't make just 6 or 7 pieces, they made a lot when there was the time to use the pork. So they made so many and they keep in the big container fegatelli and fill it up with the whole fat. Room temperature, and you can keep for the whole winter. Okay. Now, reload it really well. We have to put a lot because later, when we will cook, we will distort this part of the pork. So we prefer to add a little bit more. We close it. And we use some skewer to keep our fegatelli all together. How you can see, the recipe is really easy. I mean, if you know how to do it, everything is easy. But in this case, there are really few steps to follow. How you can see, it looks like all really traditional food. So it's a true food. Later, we'll serve with the chard, just boiled and sauteed with the garlic and chili pepper. But if you like, you can use also bean as a side dish, or the best are the turnip top during the season, because the turnip top are really bitter. This is really fatty, so you will have a traditional food with amazing taste and contrast also. Okay, we prepare. Okay. We prepare 4. Four fegatelli are okay for 2 people if you had a lot of side dish. Otherwise, 3 fegatelli and you can eat like this right away. Voila. Today we will cook the fegatelli in a pot, but if you want to try to make it home, you can also put in one tray, covered with the pork fat, and cook in the oven 30 minutes, 175 degrees Celsius. You take it out and the fegatelli are done. Okay, these are amazing. Okay, next step, dissolve our pork fat. During the autumn in Tuscany you can find the once famous focaccia. It's called the schiaccia cociccioli. What does it mean? It means that in the same period we prepare the fegatelli, we prepare with the pork fat, we cut a small piece and we fry the pork fat in the pork fat. So you will have like a small crunchy popcorn of pork. So we'll put on the top of the focaccia out and we cook together in the oven. This is another traditional recipe. So now we have to gently dissolve. We have to dissolve really gently, otherwise if the fire is too strong, it became black, and it changes a little bit of the taste. Okay. Now, during the pork fat is on the fire, we prepare our second type of fegatelli. Because if you came in Tuscany, every single place you go, you will find a different recipe for the same dish. So this from my father, so what I ate when I was younger, and this recipe is from the area where the restaurant is placed. Okay. So our pork neck. We cut. And we keep on the side. Then pork liver. You see the difference between pork liver and beef liver. Also the color are both really fresh, both this morning to the butcher, but they have different color, different taste. This is a little bit ugly, but it's still amazing as a taste. So we cut. How you can see, I don't clean the liver, I don't clean the pork neck, I don't clean anything, just because the traditional recipe in Tuscany are from poor people, and they don't throw anything, they don't care, they eat everything. So only the rich people throw the food. Okay. Perfect. The second step is ready for the different kind of fegatelli. I have to wash my hands. Look what I found.
Nice.
Do you want to serve the second part together with the porcini carpaccio?
Yeah, sure.
These are the same, and are the same fegatelli, but minced. So because also some local people doesn't like to feel the texture of liver. So in this area of Tuscany they make like this. So pork neck, pork liver, all minced. Then we will season it. Someone also had fennel seeds, but just if you like it. I prefer to use sage. Okay. We mix all together. Voila. The name is the same, but the texture will be different. The name is the same, the taste is the same, but just with a different texture. Okay, our pork fat it's hot, so we can start to cook the first type of fegatelli. We leave it. We start gently because I don't want to burn the pork fat. And we leave it cook. What is really traditional? It's cook the fegatelli in the pork fat, put in a glass can, leave it cold, open it, and then heat up again the pork fat, fill it up, all the can, close it and keep. So for that you can keep 1 winter. For 1 winter, if all the meat is under the fat, you can keep it.
Nice energy.
Yeah. Okay. The meat was a little bit too cold, so we heat up quickly. That's because if you cook too gently, it's like if you boil a little bit. So the pork liver, the beef liver and the pork neck was too cold, so we heat up quickly the fat and then we leave it cook slowly. You see? Look, it's already changing the color. Okay. And we leave it. Just in case. Slowly, let it cook, and we are going to season it. The second type of fegatelli. So the same: salt, black pepper, and I will add some sage, chopped sage. As I told you before, you can add fennel seeds or the spices you like more, or the herbs. I prefer sage because it's fresh, because I like it, and because just I grow up like this. You know, during the prep of this dish, I didn't say any amount of pork liver, pork neck, salt, sage, because there is no the exact amount. I mean, when you cook this kind of recipe, you have to feel it. So if you like more liver, put more liver. If you like more pork neck, put more pork neck. Just remember that everything you do, later you will eat, so be careful if you put too much of liver or too much black pepper. You have to think in this way. Cut again. This I will take it out because it's too thick, and if you use this part when you are going to cook, it will be difficult to close the dough, and when you are going to cook, it became too thick. This we don't throw. It can also dissolve in the pork fat, and you will have more. Well, now we are going to cut our pork caul. In Italian it's called rete di maiale. This part keep all the stomach of the pork together. and then it's wash it, and became like this. It's amazing. Well, we have our doubt. We mix it really well. We put the right amount. These you can prepare also really small fegatelli and use it as starter or aperitivo, just one bite. These are really amazing. We usually eat fegatelli during the autumn or winter period, but you can eat also during the summer. Not cold, just room temperature, and are amazing, really. Well, so this recipe, it's a little bit more difficult because we have to really care when we close the doubt. If it's too much, we cut a little bit. The pork caul, it's amazing because the tiny part when we cook, you dissolve inside the pork fat, so you also leave the taste inside the pork fat, and the thicker part became a little bit crispy. So at the end you will have a lot of part of the pork in just one dish. Okay. Still close the skewer. And we cook together with the other fegatelli. Why? Because at the end we don't care. I mean, we care, but we don't. Because my grandma, when during the winter prepared the fegatelli or all the recipe that you can keep for the whole winter, she just cook for a long time. So just cook. Then you check later because these fegatelli are smaller, but we can cook together. So we use the same amount of fat. We don't throw the fat. Okay, for this I need a little bit more pork caul because it was too tiny. See? Okay. Well. We'll find the place for the old fegatelli. I'm so sorry that you cannot smell it, because little by little we are going to feel the smell of the sage, liver, my young age. We leave it cook, and that's it.
For how long?
At least 20 minutes, half an hour for the bigger one. The smaller one, 25 minutes. Just leave it, slow fire. You can also forget it, because this recipe have to be really cooked. So it's like a braised beef. So you leave it cook because you want softer, cook it. So we don't have the exactly time, has a lot of traditional recipe, but at least half an hour, 40 minutes. Okay, now we are going to prepare our side dishes. One really traditional, I mean boiled and salted chard. And for the minced fegatelli, we're going to use the carpaccio porcini. So something light, because we choose to prepare two different kind of fegatelli. The traditional one, where the liver is thicker, when you can feel the texture of the liver. And we will serve with traditional side dish, so little bit heavier. For the minced fegatelli, we use carpaccio porcini, so same dish but with the side dish lighter. So we want something crunchy. We had carpaccio porcini. Season it just with the salt, black pepper, and oil, and that's it. During the porcini season in Tuscany, we eat a lot of carpaccio di porcini. It's served with usually Parmesan cheese, porcini carpaccio, and just a little bit of salt, black pepper. Somebody like to put lemon, but I like and I prefer to feel the taste of porcini, so just salt, oil, and pepper. So we have to clean first our porcini. We have to check if inside are good or not. So I mean, these are really natural. My father found to the market and he bring me. So this, it's one more point. If you find the vegetable and the fruit not perfect, are the best, because are real, because are organic. So if you find something too much perfect, believe me, are not the best about taste, about healthy. So let's check. I think are really nice. Okay, these are really nice, but you can see that from the bottom the small animal are going up. So we have been lucky because in 2 days the porcini are gone. So the nature will hit the porcini. So we take out the bottom that we don't throw. The bottom usually we can use for soup. We can use to make a sauce for the pasta. We can use for a stock. So remember to don't throw this small part. What we do now, we clean a little bit with the wet paper. Okay. We don't put under the water, otherwise all the water go inside the porcini, because the porcini, almost all the mushroom are like a sponge. So we prefer to use with the dry brush and just a little bit wet paper. Okay, if you want to store, you can keep in the fridge with the paper on the top, on the bottom, but don't close the can or the container you use to put the porcini in the fridge. Okay. I want to show you that these porcini are really nice, but are not perfect, because you can see.
Yeah.
Okay, so one portion is more than enough. Oops. Okay. Okay. Now we prepare the chard for the traditional segatelli. Please put it on the side. Just hot water, salted hot water, crushed garlic, and chopped garlic. We use both because if you want to try at home, usually during our cooking class I say everyone, the chopped garlic and the crushed garlic are two different tastes and two different flavors. So what we want are both of them. So one is just crushed and one part is chopped. These chard are really common here in Tuscany and also in a lot of houses because you can serve together with a lot of main dishes. Also with braised veal, peposo, there is also a traditional recipe. So, cold pan, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, and we just heat up a little bit. Here we go. Chili pepper seeds. We blanch our chard. See, also that chard are not perfect, but the snails, if the snail they eat chard, it means they are good. If no animal eat the vegetable, just be careful. Okay, we take out crushed garlic. Okay, it's alive. Do by hand. The fire is off. We check our fettuccine. See, it's boiling the fat, but not too strong. So like this, we don't burn our fettuccine. We can put a little bit more higher, but not a lot. Okay. I like to cook the chard or the spinach to root up just for a few seconds in the hot water and then finish to cook. This is not traditional, because if you talk with my mother, with the grandmother here in Tuscany, they just cook, they just leave it cook and they forget. Maybe they go to do somewhere else, and after that they throw the water and they salt it again. When this happens, you have just you lose the green color, are still nice, and just the color is different. Now we can do it, so we prefer to blanch it for a few seconds. But at home it's not really important, and also my mother doesn't care if are green or a little bit black. The most important thing is it. Okay, we leave it cook. You can also choose for the chard if you want to leave a little bit wet or make it really dry. It's always up to you. With this, like this, you can also prepare one bruschetta with chard. So toasted bread, garlic, put on the top, and you have an amazing start. Okay, we'll prepare our carpaccio. That we use just for garnish on the top. Okay. Important step for the carpaccio porcini is don't put salt, don't season it with anything. Black pepper, salt, extra virgin olive oil, we put just before serve. Otherwise, it's like the same for the water. So you put oil right now. The mushroom is like a sponge, so all the oil will go inside, just in a small part. So we prefer to season it at the end. Okay. Our chard are ready. The tiny part is almost dissolved, but still keep the fegatello all together, and the thicker part is here. So we are almost ready. We take one just to check. We cut in half. Let's see, huh? Ready, not ready? Oh yes, it's ready. So let's take it out. We start with the smaller one. That you can leave it cook a little bit more, because as I told you before, there is no time. So you can leave it, just put in a slow fire, it's okay. Take out the skewer. are almost ready, yeah? Black pepper, pinch of salt, extra virgin olive oil, the first is done. Let's go to the bigger fegatelli with chard. These dishes are the same, but my advice is eat this one during the autumn period and this is during the winter time. So how you can see we have some water from the chard, but I don't care because later when you eat you can do one thing in Italian that is called scarpetta. It's mean you take the bread and you clean all the dish. Okay. Fegatelli. We don't cut to serve. Okay. The traditional food doesn't care if it's plated in a nice way or in the wrong way, if there is too much water. I love to eat like this, the traditional way. Also, if you see some water, don't worry, we have bread. We punch the bread and we eat. So now we need just to try them and choose which one we prefer. How I like to eat. Garlic. You have to hate the bread for last one.
Thank
Okay?
you.
This is the best part of the dish, believe me. Tac.
Thank you.